Mega Ultra Hardcore mode is playing Minecraft with 1 life, only regenerating health with these items, and playing with Herobrine recoded back into the game. I already managed to survive 100 days and capture Herobrine. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will put a link in the description and right there. These videos take a lot of time to make, so if you enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing. I had 3 new goals for these next 100 days. Number 1, I wanted to get full netherite tools, something I've never done before, and get the best enchantments on all my gear. Number 2, I wanted to defeat the Wither and get a beacon. And number 3 was to study Herobrine and unlock his mysteries, but he kind of escaped. He seemed a little mad that I captured him, so number 3 became to survive whatever form of revenge he had planned. Here's what happened. We pick up right where we left off. On the night of day 100, the sunset was ruined by a skeleton. After punching him out of my way, I ran for my base. After that encounter, I decided to start brewing some more health potions. As I walked outside to get some more melons, Herobrine already managed to escape and he poured lava on my villagers. I quickly ran up to try to stop the lava before they were burnt to a crisp. And just like that, I was on to my next 100 days of Mega Ultra Hardcore Minecraft. Day 101, I cleaned up the mess from the night before, disenchanted my sword and got some better enchantments on it, and spent the rest of that day chopping some wood. That night, I sheared some sheep, hid more of the torches around my base, and decided to make a torch path to the village. It definitely was not the best idea to do that at night. Day 102, I started the grueling task of dealing with villagers. After a while, I was able to lure one into captivity. I gave them some crops and made one a farmer, and built some defenses up around my new village breeder. On day 103, I threw on my lucky golden boots and headed back into the nether. As I entered this terrifying dimension, I was greeted by some leftover chickens from Herobrine's prank. After failing to jump over a simple lava stream, I spent the rest of day 103 mining for gold. Day 104, I went back to the overworld and crafted a bunch of gold ingots. I really enjoy having a Fortune 3 pickaxe. After that, I crafted up some more shears and started collecting leaves for a project. Then at night, I returned to an old friend to hopefully get some ender pearls. This time, he was hanging out with his kid. Day 105, I returned to my trap. Luckily, Herobrine wanted to be nowhere near this trap, so I was able to get the dragon head and the egg. I forgot that when you hit the egg, it teleports, so after a little while of searching for the egg, I finally found it. Curious, I decided to check the trap to see how Herobrine escaped, and I realized he just dug straight down and dug a little tunnel to escape. I threw the dragon head and the egg into my ender chest so Herobrine could never get it again. Then that night, I went to go mining. After running into a few more of these little guys, I decided to head back up to the surface. Day 106, I threw all the ore I found into furnaces and collected some wheat to trade with my farming villager. I also sold a lot of sticks. Then I finally had enough emeralds to buy a mending book. I put mending on my elytra and faced these winged creatures to get my loot. Day 107, I put everything I needed to build an ender farm into my shulker box. After grabbing some more health potions, I was ready to head to the end dimension. I flew back to the stronghold and fought my way to the end portal. Once I was through, I got straight to work at building an enderman farm. Like I said before, I'm not the best with farms and redstone, so I'll link all the tutorials I used in this video. It took me a few days to get this thing built, and to make this farm work efficiently, you need an endermite. Spawning one in is harder and scarier than what I thought. You guys gave me plenty of great names to use in this series, so I named this endermite Voltorf. Got him in his new home and finish the farm. After fixing up my gear that has mending and getting a few levels, on day 111 I headed back to the overworld. Since I used so many health potions spawning in a simple endermite, I refilled all the bottles I had with water and crafted up some more health potions. Next, I headed out to expand my wheat farm until I noticed a big obsidian block, and as I approached, Herobrine came around the corner and pressed the button. I ran up to see what was about to happen, and there was a huge explosion. Herobrine used the obsidian from the trap to make a TNT cannon, which he then used to blow up the trap that I built. I went to go follow him, but he had vanished. So I just got back to work expanding my wheat farm. Day 112, I lit up the area around my village breeder and farmed up some potatoes to get the process going a little faster. Then from the rest of day 112 to 115, I spent mining for precious ores, but I also needed a lot of cobblestone. I spent day 116 smelting up cobblestone and chopping down trees. For day 117 through 119, it was time for another farm. After getting some villagers ready for transit and another name ready from the comments, I trapped Tony the zombie and kidnapped some villagers. I sent the villagers up into the farm and trapped them in their new home. Then I introduced them to their next door neighbor, Tony the zombie. The farm wasn't finished, but it already started working, so I had to kill the first iron golem. After adding the finishing touches, my iron farm was complete. It was very efficient, but really ugly. So for day 120 to 122, I turned it into a watchtower. Day 123, I finally named my horse Coco. Thanks to everyone who gave name suggestions in the last video. The rest of day 123 and day 124, I headed over to the mine. I found emerald ore, as well as some other goodies. On day 125, I was heading back to my base, and I saw smoke in the distance. I was very confused and very worried. My house looked like it was on fire, but as I went in, I realized it was just campfires. Turns out it was just Herobrine up to his sneaky tricks again. He is known for setting fires, so he got me pretty good. After cleaning up the rest of the campfires, it was time for my next build. For the rest of day 125 through 127, I spent building a furnace array, gathering lava to fuel it, and threw some cobblestone in so I could get some stone blocks. I quickly realized that I put them in the wrong chests. After fixing my mistake, I got to work on giving the furnace array a new home. I don't know if you could tell, but I was committed to that time lapse. Right in the middle of building, 3 phantoms swooped down and attacked me, but I fought them off for your viewing experience. On day 127, I added a few finishing touches and spent that night deconstructing the obsidian cannon. I wanted a quick and safe way to get to the end dimension from my base, but another portal would have to go right in the middle of this lava lake. So for the rest of day 127 through 133, I spent building a cobblestone tunnel to the nether coordinates where the stronghold would be. I lit the portal, but I couldn't go through quite yet. First, I had to fly back to the stronghold and build another nether portal right near the end portal. It was the moment of truth. I went through the portal and I ended up in my cobblestone tunnel. I put some slabs down so that way no more hoglins would spawn in my tunnel, dug out the rest of the netherrack, and finally I had myself a safe cobblestone tunnel from my base straight to the end portal. Since I was right near the end portal anyways, I decided to go fix up my pickaxe at the Enderman farm. And while I was trying to put on my elytra, Herobrine tried to hit me off into the void. Luckily, I successfully put it on and had my rockets in hand. I quickly chased Herobrine to the portal back to the overworld, but he managed to escape just in time. So I fixed up my pickaxe, and after a few days of mining, I collapsed in my bed, exhausted. Day 137, refueled and refreshed, I gathered some natural resources. Day 138, I felt like I had enough resources to build myself a villager trading hall. On day 143, I ran out of wood before I could finish the second story, but I was still really happy with my build. I spent the rest of day 143 through 145 mining wood and chopping stone. Then day 146 and 147, I was able to finish up my villager trading hall. The building was the easy part. The hard part was dealing with the villagers. I spent the next 9 days getting these villagers into place and getting the trades that I actually wanted. Press the like button to show your respect. Luckily, the whole time I was doing this, my iron farm was hard at work. I had tons of iron to trade for emeralds. But of course, I wanted those nice discounts. So I got myself some weakness potions and zombified some of the villagers. Once the villagers I needed the most were zombified, I threw weakness of potions at them and gave them golden apples. I don't imagine they were too excited to see a zombie roll into their room. After so many days of dealing with these villagers, I finally got the enchanted books that I needed. But all this running around came with a price. I was low on food again, so I had to get myself some more bread. Once I got the last few books I needed, I headed back to my house, and since phantoms started to attack me, I ran for my bed. But when I tried to sleep, it said that there was monsters nearby. I can normally sleep when there's phantoms flying around, so I decided to take a look around. I heard a zombie, but I couldn't figure out where it was. It sounded like it was coming from right underneath me, so I started digging around my floor looking for the zombie, and then finally I found the culprit. There was a zombie right under my bed in a minecart holding a shovel, so it couldn't move and it couldn't despawn, which also means I couldn't sleep. After that, I decided to go to bed and figure out what happened in the morning. Turns out Herobrine was the one who wanted to keep me sleep deprived. He put so much effort to hide a zombie right under my bed. The next day I went down to put all these enchantment books on my gear, and then I remembered that I broke my anvil the last time I used it. So after crafting a new one, I got straight to work on putting enchantments on all my gear. I got almost all the best enchantments you can get for your gear. I'll probably add 1 or 2 more enchantments on some of my gear in the future, but for now I was set. Except when it came to my helmet, all I needed was 1 mending book. I went and bought it, but I didn't have enough levels to put it on my helmet. So I grabbed my anvil and headed straight to the end dimension. After getting a few levels, I threw mending on my helmet and repaired almost all of my gear. I did forget about my axe and shovel though. Day 157, I headed back down into my ancient debris mine. I didn't need as much as last time, but it still took me a while before I had enough for all my tools. While mining, I also came across a ton of gold ore. I crafted myself up some more golden apples and repaired my diamond axe and shovel. And after some serious dedication on day 163, I accomplished the first of my 3 new goals. This would actually look good on a thumbnail. Please pardon the interruption. I spent day 164 and 5 giving the interior of my house a brand new makeover. I had a nice desk with a lovely view, a cozy dining area, and an improved storage room. With only 1 one goal out of the way, I needed to prepare to fight the Wither. After crafting a bunch of health potions and one more golden apple, I headed back to the Nether Fortress. I spent the next several days getting pretty good at fighting Wither skeletons. I'm sure my looting 3 swords saved me a lot of time. And once I had 3 Wither skulls, I returned home and put them right in my ender chest to be safe. On day 175, it was time to prepare to fight the Wither. I made sure I had a bunch of strength potions, regen potions, and health potions. I also grabbed some cobblestone just in case. Then I headed down into my mine, prepared some side tunnels to hide in, and spawned the Wither. I normally spawn the Wither under the ender portal so that way it suffocates. So this was my first time actually fighting a Wither one-on-one. Terrified, I drank all the potions I could and got to work at shooting the Wither. Once I got the Wither down to about half health, I ran in to fight it with my sword. And then after about 2 to 3 minutes, I landed the final blow. The fight wasn't actually as bad as I thought it would be, but my good enchants might have helped. On day 178, I crafted myself up a beacon. I didn't have enough iron blocks to make a whole beacon, so for now I settled for a wooden design. I enabled speed 2 and then ran around the beacon to celebrate accomplishing my second goal. I also wanted to celebrate my 2 new patrons. Special thanks to Alexi Bacon and Jaden. If you become any tier patron on my Patreon, then you can end up on this wall too, along with some other good perks. On day 179, with one goal left, I set out to find some wolf companions. My last goal was to survive Herobrine's revenge. I came across a ruined nether portal and a pillager outpost. As I was scanning their defenses, I saw Herobrine in the distance, right by the render fog. And just like that, he was gone. So I looted the ruined nether portal and decided to leave the villager outpost for now. I didn't know why Herobrine was there, but I knew he was planning something big for his revenge. So I needed some adorable bodyguards. And in a nearby spruce forest, I found some raw mutton and some wool. I figured there would be wolves nearby. I managed to find 3 wolves and befriend them, and led them back to my base. I gave them a nice little place to sit in my front yard and began growing my army. On day 180, I went to go get even more cobblestone for a big build, but of course I mined at diamond level. On day 184, I got some more lava so I could smelt all my loot and cobblestone. Then I got to work on clearing out a big area for a big build. This was definitely my favorite time lapse. The next 2 days, I got a good start on leveling the area. Then I needed to repair my tools and cleared out a little bit more dirt. On day 192, several more cows sacrificed themselves to make this video. I spent day 193 through 195 breeding up my animals and brewing some potions to prepare for Herobrine's attack. I also got a bunch of golden apples, and I had a feeling that Herobrine would come with an army, so I had to make an army of my own. On day 196, I figured the easiest way for Herobrine to get an army was with a raid. So I brought my dogs over and moved my beacon to the center of the village, and now all that was left was to set up some iron golems and build some defenses. Unfortunately, while I was still setting up the iron golems, Herobrine actually started the raid. I quickly spawned in as many iron golems as I could and got all my dogs ready to fight. While I was looking for raiders in the hills, I saw Herobrine watching the raid from a distance. My army and I were able to fend off wave after wave, but I lost a lot of good soldiers. I did accidentally shoot a few of my dogs and get several more blown up by a creeper. Finally, as the sun rose, we were declared the victors, and I was so happy to find a bunch of totems of undying. I spent the rest of day 197 and 198 taking advantage of the hero of the village effect. I made sure to buy several books and get the best enchants on my last piece of netherite gear. I finally had good netherite gear with the best enchantments, a brand new beacon, and I survived Herobrine's revenge. I still had 2 days left, so I went to explore some nearby underwater ruins, and I found myself a fishing rod with mending on it. So on day 200, I decided to test out my brand new fishing rod. And just like that, I survived 200 days in Mega Ultra Hardcore Minecraft. I have a lot of big plans for this series, so let me know down in the comments if you want to see me survive 300 days in Mega Ultra Hardcore Minecraft. I want to give a special thanks to Luke the Notable for inspiring the 100 days trend, to my patrons for all your support, and of course you for watching.